Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined with a man who's not fighting this year, but he's fight promoter. Like, it's a change of career. Mr. McSweeney, thank you so much for joining me. Obviously, I want to welcome you on. I want to welcome you back. I wish you a fantastic year 2017, because you've got a show coming up at the end of January. Can you please just kind of break down what's going on, how this happened? Because this is just surprise people, but Australia's getting a treat.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, as always, and it's a pleasure. Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys as well. Yeah, first of all, I had to retire. It was a forced medical condition for myself. It wasn't a chosen time for me to retire, but to be honest, I'm not prepared, or I physically can't fight anymore. Anyway, they won't even allow me. But also, I can't go out there and not be 100% medically fit and then still fight and then have conditions cost me the fight. You know, like if I lose because the guy's better than me, I can live with that. But to know that, like, I'm winning the fight and then the fight stopped, or I'm winning the fight and then something happened, and then it just blows your mind. You have to live with it every day. So it's terrible. But I had a couple of medical issues. I got diagnosed with epilepsy, and then I had a stroke, and I now have only 50% vision in my left eye. So mentally and physically, I'm not allowed to fight. So they stopped it. But so now my next choice was to, I had a brainstorm, an idea about a year ago to go into promotions, and now it's pushed forward. I jumped on it as soon as I could, as soon as I found out I couldn't fight no more. It's the next stepping stone for me, and I feel that with my connections in the sport and experience over the years, that I can bring something to the market that maybe most haven't. I don't think there's another promoter in the world that's, apart from Oscar De La Hoya, that's come from being a world champion, that's gone into promotions, and we all know how successful he's been. Yeah,
Oscar De La Hoya's done a pretty good job for himself. He's still doing well. His pension's going to be premium when he finally retires. But you're bringing some great fighters to this event for a first show. You know, you got ex-UFC, ex-Bellator, ex-ACB fighters. You got women and men. How did you match these guys up and girls? Did you do it yourself? Did you have someone have an input? How did that all come about, though?
Everything on this show so far has been done by myself. I'm pretty much been a one-man band for the whole show, so it's been a lot of late nights and early mornings and long days. But yeah, I feel like to be honest, at this stage I don't have the accessible budget to be hiring, putting money elsewhere apart from into the event and into promotions right now. After the first event, maybe I can add staff. But to be honest, with the people that I have, I just pretty much looked and thought to myself, right, as a fight fan, what fights would I want to see in Australia? Yeah. So I thought straight away, okay, there's a few people I know in Australia that have either trained with me, old students of mine, or I'm a fan of theirs, and let me see what I can contact with. So with nowadays, with the contacts you have, like with such outsource or social media, it's so easy to make contact with anybody. Oh, yeah. So I reached out to some of my old students. Would you like to fight? I've got a show coming out, and they all jumped at the chance. It was kind of funny because before we started to really announce what we were doing, no one really was taking, not me, but the show too serious. So I really struggled to get like 10 fights together. And it wasn't the best fights that I really wanted, but I was really kind of struggling to put on. You know, people weren't returning my messages, and if they did, they were like, no, I'm not too sure. I'm with this company, and I've got another fight possibly with this company, and I could fight in Melbourne on this day, but let me know what you do, and blah, blah. So I said, okay, no problem. I didn't take it personally, you know. I said, okay, no worries. So then once I got a solid core of like, I think it was like 6 fights. I got the main event, co-main event, and some fights done. And we started to announce and show commercials and start to advertise but I always knew what I had coming up. I just never really, I couldn't announce it yet. We had strategically announced how we were doing it. And now I have over 100 fighters waiting to get on my show. So now we have a full fight card. I have 107 fighters on my list that have contacted me in the last 10 days to try and get on my January card.
So how many cards?
It's a huge...
How many cards? Sorry to interrupt there, buddy. How many cards are you looking to do a year? Have you got an idea? Are you going to maybe do 4 a year? Is it just start it off and build up slow? What's the plan with it?
On 2017, we will have 3 events. We'll have January, June, and then December, all in the Gold Coast. And then 2018, we'll be looking to spread across the market, go over to different states in Australia. I have opportunities to possibly go into Asia as well in 2018. But to be honest, I have pay-per-view been offered to me. I have internet to be offered to me, like Facebook, all these different things that avenues that I could go into. But at the end of the day, these are all amazingly fantastic opportunities. But as of right this second, my priority is to make if this show needs to be a success.
Yes.
And the January show is what I'm really concentrating on. Once January show is done, then I'll look at the June show, and then once June's done, I'll look at December and so forth. We'll start planning a little bit ahead, and we'll overlap into future shows. But right now, the first and foremost, it needs to be a success for me. It doesn't need to sell out. It doesn't need to be. When I say a success, that does mean that I need to successfully represent my brand. And to show people that what we can and can't do, and to go as smoothly as possible. So I mean, the hardest thing for me on this event has been, I'm new to the country. I'm making new connections, and I'm taking people's words and signing of contracts as their oath. And some people, I have that for you in 2 weeks' time. Okay, perfect. 2 weeks come, they don't have it. And it's like, you've wasted me 2 weeks, and now also I've got to find somebody else. And that's the protocol. So by the time June comes, I'll have a solid database of people that I know that have done the show for me in January, and I know they're reliable. So it should release a lot of the stress. But I'm learning from trying to be a fighter to being a businessman, So I'm learning to learn this new skill set that I'm really. Some days I'm on top of it, and other days I'm progressing. My stress levels and my patience is definitely something that I'm having to learn. Let's put it that way.
Because I saw your social media that you were doing on Instagram. You did a little flow of leg locks, a little video that you did. Because I was always getting into the coaching side of things. Obviously, this came out because I like my leg locks. I love my leg locks, if I'm honest with you. I'm probably getting a bit obsessed with them again lately. I've started, especially with the Eddie Bravo invitationals and that stuff. I'm getting a bit obsessed with my legs. So I saw your Instagram, and I saw that, and I was like, okay, awesome. And then the promotional stuff. So I thought it must be a bit of a balance, obviously coaching and doing this, and obviously because being a fighter, you know what it's like from a fighter side of things. So now you start to sympathise a bit more with sympathise from a kind of fighter and an owner perspective. You're starting to see why the two of them clashed heads often and stuff like that. It's starting to make sense.
There's always been this battle, I think, between fighters and their opinions of promoters. And over the years, I've met good and I've met extremely bad. I think that I can bring something completely different. I think that all promoters try to say, it's about the fighters. It's about the fighters first. But when it comes down to it, it's really not. I mean, when you look at it, and there's so many different examples, even sometimes at the highest level, I don't think there's a sport or a job in the world that you can have a bad day at work and you're fired that day. You don't have a job to go to.
Yeah. No, you're right,
yeah. That brings an aspect of pressure on top of pressure to your job, no matter what your role may be, that is going to put you under extreme amount of pressure. And, some people are just not prepared for that. They're used to fighting for a company, and they just have to think about the fight. And if you're fighting for your family and you have that added pressure of, I've done the last 15, 10 years of my career to get to this point. And when I get there, if I have a bad day in the office, I don't have a job no more.
No, yeah. It's high stakes. Yeah. It's hard because it's hard to find. You need a balance, obviously, because you need to look after the product, which is the fighter, but you need to look after it from a business perspective. But I think yourself, Jack Mason would be another one to who would have an opinion on this, because he obviously has BCMMA in the UK. He's fought. You'll know Jack Mason, UK guy, fought for years on all promotions. So he's had a bit of an experience like yourself. So it's valuable that what you guys have done by actually fighting on shows. You fought on some good shows, really good shows, and you fought on not some shows that you probably went, hang on a minute, there's no one here to help us. No one, even some of the things like a runner. There's no one. There's no runners. Or I remember when I was on a show, and there's been some silly things happen, but it just that's something for you to take on board, so you can make sure it doesn't happen for yourself. Yeah,
I just think that, of course, at the end of the day, I just think that you really have to put the fighters have to be completely at number one. If you've got a happy, it's like any business.
Yeah.
If your staff are happy and they work in a good environment, they're gonna they have an interest in doing the best job they could for your business, right?
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, the fighters have to come completely first. Then it's the fans, and it's not like side by side. It's just half the degree lower. So you have to make sure the fighters are happy. They're looked after completely first, no matter what. If the fighters feel secure, they feel looked after. I mean, fighters are kind of egotistical people, right? We're all kind of egotistical. Yeah. So, we all want to be looked after. We all want that little bit extra special treatment. We want to make us feel like we're stars a little bit. We want to make sure we feel like, we're valued.
Yeah.
And they should be valued. I mean, without the fighters, there is no show.
No.
And also, without no fans, there is no show. But that comes secondary. And that is just a degree smaller than the fighters. But I think sometimes what happens is because the fans bring the money, whether it's on television, whether it's on the media, whether it's ticket sales, they bring the money. And eventually what happens is every promoter starts off saying, yeah, it's about the fighters, and then once the money starts, the fighters drop off. Because what happens is the fighters get to be seen as expandable. Just like I just said to you just a second ago, when I started this, I only had, 6 or 7 fights. So that's maybe 12 to 14 fighters on my card, on my whole roster list. And now I've already, 3 weeks later, I have over 100. So already the list has grown. If we go down 1 year from now, I'm going to have 10,000 at my disposal.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, when the fight show starts off, the promoter is very loyal to his fighters. But once he gets an exposable amount of fighters dying to get on his card, it's like they lose track of it. Like, well, never mind. See you later. Next.
Yeah. And
the next fighter can just in a heartbeat. Or half the time, the promoter doesn't even know. The matchmaker just makes that decision, cuts that guy, and gets another guy.
Yeah.
So they lose track of it. They keep track of the finance. And for me personally, I always make a conscious effort, and I'm just starting off on this reign, but I will always make a conscious effort to never forget my fighters. My fighters will always come first. Even if the fans come a slightly second, they will always be a slightly second.
So the matchups that you've got, did you sit there and match them up because you thought that would bring the most kind of sparks to your card for your first to show? Have you, because obviously you got your main event, Stephen Kennedy against Jose de Ribamar, is it? My Brazilian's not the best.
Ribamar.
There we go. I wasn't there. So, you got some, like I say, you got some great names. That's your main event there. Obviously, picking your main event, because you got some really good names on the card, mate. You got some good fights. How did you get to decide how you were going to structure, like, for example, why pick that for a main event? Because I'm only picking your brain because this is obviously your first time, and it's nice to get an insight to how you did it.
Well, for me personally, I mean, not only am I a fighter, am I a coach. So as a coach, I can watch my own fighters and how they move and what they do, and I can be constructive criticism of their technique and help them and move. And then as a coach also, I watch other fighters or like their opponents, and I build a structure on how to beat that person. So I already have that extra eye on how to see a fight differently.
Yeah.
So when I get 2 fighters, let's take example of Steve and Jose, I looked at them both and I thought, right, this is Steve. If I was Steve's coach and I was fighting Jose, this is the game plan I would come up with to beat this guy. If I was Jose fighting Steve, this is the game plan I would come up to beat this guy. Now, these 2 game plans are completely different. So therefore, that's your game of chess.
Yeah.
That's your strategicness of, and both have the foundation and the chemicals to make an exciting fight, but in 2 different realms.
Yeah.
Maybe one tries to make the same realm as the other, and that's the mistake he's going to make.
Yeah.
And then the guy is going to win that fight. But both of these guys are so evenly matched. But I feel personally, when you see a fight, the fights are so evenly matched. Sometimes that fight's a dud.
Yeah, it's careful.
The reason why it's a dud, or it's not a great fight, is because they checkmate each other. Because what they try to do is they both try to come in with the same game plan against each other, and they hit like this.
Yeah.
And therefore, the fight is just not a boring fight, because I hate to say fights are boring, but it's not the most entertaining fight, I should say.
They just cancel each other out. Yeah, they just cancel each other out.
In my opinion, you have to work out, in your opinion, what you feel an entertaining fight is, and how you make an entertaining fight, a crowd pleaser or an athlete to the sport. It's when they come in with two different game plans, and both are trying to implement it in two different realms.
Yeah.
And they're both attacking here. Like, the guy's taking him down, he almost get the ground and pound. The guy stood up, now he comes back and they stand up straight up. Now he's having a stand-up war. Then he goes up, then he tries to take him down. And they have that MMA mixed martial arts battle. And that's how I've tried to do all my fights. To be honest with you, we're announcing this week the whole card. People are going to be in shock. I mean, we only have 2 preliminary fights. And those 2 preliminary fights, they're all professionals.
Yeah.
But they've had under 5 fights. The other 8 fights on this card, any one of them could be a main event.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I thought. With the fights I've seen anyway, the ones that you've announced so far, I was really, I was thinking, I was thinking, how was a hard choice really, how to pick the main event. Because, like, for example, I don't know if it is the 3 fights, for example, on your fight post that you put on there. Is that the main, co-main, and then the 3rd fight from the top? Because you've got, like, for example, you got Steve there, then you've got Arlene, and then you've got Vic. Is that the 3? Is that the structure? Is it for those top 3? They're the top 3 fights, yeah. So, like, straight away, I was like,
we have.
Sorry, go ahead, James. Sorry, go ahead.
We have Stephen Kennedy as the main event.
Yeah.
Then we have Amanda Blanco, the Bellator veteran girl from Australia.
Yeah.
She's an amazing fighter as well. And then we have Vic versus Luke Jumo. Vic was another UFC veteran from Australia. And Luke Jumo is an old student of mine from New Zealand who used to train me in Thailand, who, to be honest with you, I've always, he trained me for maybe 6 to 8, 10 months in Thailand. And this young guy he's a phenomenal athlete and a great record. He just never got that chance, I don't think, to get the break that he wanted, or that break-in fight.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I couldn't think of anyone better to put. Vic's on his comeback. He took a couple of years off after having some surgeries and some issues with the UFC. And I mean, that's just, when you've got one guy hungry to get his name back, and you've got one guy hungry to get to the top, that's another mixture for a war.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And Vic is tough as nails. Vic's tough, whew.
I'm a fight fan too, so I wanted to put on fights that were exciting for everybody.
Yeah.
And I want to enjoy the show too, just because it's mine. I want to enjoy it, and I wanted to make great fights.
Look, I honestly, when I saw the fights, I was impressed anyway, because I was thinking, okay, first show, you probably have a couple of, maybe like your main event, your co-main event might be a couple of good names. I have to admit, Mr. McSweeney, you're taking me by surprise with the names you've been throwing out there, man. You've been flirting with us MMA fans. And then obviously then you top it up. You went a bit old school with your Pride and WEC kind of thing. You're getting the kind of old schoolies involved here. You've got your lovely ring announcer, the one and the only Miss Hard. Now, mate, I can't even put into words, mate, how awesome that is. I love Pride.
For me personally, I've had Bruce Buffer announce my name. Over the years, I pretty much had everyone in the industry. And because it wasn't until later on in my career that I started to break over into Asia. When I got to ONE FC, and I always was such a huge fan of Leanne Hart.
Yeah.
I wanted her, and I hear that she's an opera singer. And when I first ever heard her, years and years ago, back in Pride days, I would never have pictured the lady who's behind the voice. I never would have pictured it. I always thought it was some Japanese person, lady, or whatever, and I would just imagine some, belting voice of it. But such a very nice, amazing lady. When I fought for ONE FC, she was very, very polite to me and my family. She very good to my daughter and my wife. And but that lady has a voice that could just absolutely give you chills.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out to my first ONE FC fight, and she called my name. I would have fought King Kong that night.
Yeah.
And I would have won. She had me so pumped. Just the way she just projects herself and the rolls her R's, and she just fantastic. And you know what? And that's all part of the atmosphere, right?
Yes.
That's when you go to an MMA event. I don't want to see girls up there dancing. I don't want to see other people singing. I don't want to see these Asian shows with the dragons and all this stuff. That's not where I came from. If I want to go, yeah, but if I want to go and see that, I'll go to Chinatown, or I'll
Yeah.
go to the country and watch the parade.
Yeah.
That's what I'm there for. I'm not there to be conned out of my money. I'm there to watch entertaining fights in a beautiful atmosphere and built in the right arena. I'm not there to sit at tables and enjoy a dinner and talk to my friend and there's fights in the background. I'm going there. My event will have no tables. It has stadium-style seating, just like a real boxing event or an MMA event in Japan or in Las Vegas. All focuses should be on the fighters, and I want to build an atmosphere in that arena. I'll have an opening ceremony like they do in Japan. All the fighters will be announced to the whole arena before they come out. Set the mood, so every person in that arena has a relationship and can choose who they feel. Oh, I like this guy. Oh, wow. They'll hear his story. They'll know about the athlete. They'll get a background on him. They'll get a connection with him. They want him to win. They'll feel, oh, he's my guy. I like him. And that's what you want when you go to an MMA show.
It is.
And that's what we build here. I'm not looking. I feel like some of these events they put on, and you're sitting around these tables having dinner. It's like a cheap awards night.
Yeah,
it looks terrible.
I think the whole package. A couple of people have said in the past, they say, "Oh, that stuff doesn't matter." I'm like, look, the whole thing makes everything. You have a poor ring announcer, it just takes away a lot of the effect of the event. You don't feel that vibe. You don't get that energy. That ring announcer, that person on the mic has got such a hard job that people understand. And you've nailed it. You've got that one buried. Then on the microphone, calling the fights. Wow. All right, Frank Mir, what? You fancy calling some Frank Mir, Mr. McSweeney? Come on, man, that is a fan. He is a brilliant master on the mic.
Well, then I'm going to give you an exclusive. So now we have Frank Mir on the mic giving you the full MMA perspective of MMA. And then I have Sam Greco, the K1 Australian champion. It was the highest level of K1 in Australia. Fought in the top guys of Ernesto Hoost, all the high level guys for absolutely. I grew up watching Sam Greco. I'm going to have him as the other guest commentator, giving you a stand-up perspective of the sport. So you have different realms, two different people that have a lot of knowledge. You have Sam Greco coming from Australia, bringing the K1 days, being in Japan, being a huge hit. And then we have Frank Mir. So you're the first guys to find out that we have Sam Greco. We'll be announcing that to the rest of the world next week.
That is amazing. Jay, that is a fantastic announcement, man. I love the fact that you're going to have a balance there between the two, because obviously then the pair of them then will learn from each other as well. That's what's really good about it. If they work together, they speak together, they'll start to pick up stuff. It's a great thing, and I hope the chemistry is just going to, well, the thing is, I think the chemistry would work because the pair of them are so experienced in the fight game. They'll have such a kind of camaraderie probably before they get going. I think it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, but you have to respect the fan. You can't think that everyday fan is not an intelligent MMA person. So you have to respect their knowledge. Nowadays, you don't have to be a fighter to be intelligent in MMA or in mixed martial arts in general. Some of the best people in the world I've ever met that are the most intelligent never had an MMA fight in their life. But they have a different insight to the sport. So you can't have someone there on the commentary board just going up there and just saying, oh, yeah, he's on top, or, oh, no, he's looking like he's going to win here, and just insulting the common fan. And also, then you have to look at the other side. Then you do have the everyday person who's new to the sport. And you have to have people on the microphone or on the commentary board that's going to interest them and show them a different side to a sport that maybe they think, oh, it's just two guys fighting. You have to show them intelligence about the sport, the game of chess that it is, what they're doing here, and why they're doing it, and how they got to do it there. So that's why in my commentary board, I've tried to bring in two of the most intelligent people I've brought in the sport to pull that job off. And I mean, I've invested financially in both of them. They're not cheap. They're worth every penny. If I could pay them times more, I definitely would. It's just that itself. It goes to show that I'm not just invested in the fighters. I'm invested in the fans as well. I want the fans to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and bring in two members of the world that have been so world renowned in the sport for generations. That understand the sport in a completely different way than most.
Yeah, and I think that is key, especially when if someone would have watched the fight, say you got your June show coming up, people want to watch your last show, they'll see the fight online, they'll watch it and listen to the commentary. It will make a huge difference. Now, I've got to ask though, how are you going to put this out there? Is this going to be streamed in some way? Is it going to be on local television Australia? Because I'm obviously in the UK. What am I going to do?
Well, the first show is going to be on Fox Sports,
Okay.
Which is based here in Australia. But after Fox Sports have released it, it will then go online. But in possibly our June show, we're looking to go live on Facebook for free to everybody.
Yeah.
For our June show, and then we're looking at getting pay-per-view towards the end of the year for around the world.
Right, that's a very good move. I think it's a good way to start as well with something like Facebook, because it gets you out there for a start, gets you going, and then advertisement as well, and then you start to build your structure and the pay-per-view stuff. You get bring them in, get the fans in, and it's a good way to go, man. Very good way to go.
Testing on both sides of the board. I mean, if we can put it out there on a social media nowadays, the world's changed, right?
Oh,
you have to grow with the world. Facebook is a huge source for almost everything nowadays.
Shit.
People resort to Facebook and an old friend, to look for someone new, to do anything, to watch a sports. They go through it's such a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
So you have to take advantage of that. And to be honest, if there's people that out there are not in Australia that can't watch it, then I'm going to try to provide my service to them and give them a fight to watch like yourself. And then they can watch it live.
Yeah.
Just like everybody else.
Yeah, it makes it. I'm telling you now, it'll make a huge difference. Absolutely fantastic. That'll be a great addition. I'm looking forward to this anyway, because obviously when you mentioned about it, I was very happy. And then the fights are starting to get announced, and then there's more fights. And I'm just a fight fan anyway. I love watching my fights. I don't care what. I am one of them ones like you. Doesn't have to be the UFC for me to watch it. I love watching guys who are making their way in the game, supporting. Like for example, a good one is Brett Johns, Welsh fighter, was in Cage Warriors, went to Titan FC in the States, and then got signed to UFC. Following him through his journey on that career was just a beautiful thing. Same with Stevie. There's some following guys. There's something about following people through their careers to the highest point. There's just something warming about it, mate. I love when you got a show, back you up, get you on here, and get this show out there, because I think it's very important to help grassroots and get guys on, and get it out there.
Yeah, but something. There's two sides. There's two sides to that coin, unfortunately. And what there is there's an amazing platform for some, like around the world. If you could pick out the top 5 promotions around the world under the UFC and Bellator and ONE FC, for example. It would be hard to choose those 5, and it would be hard to say if there is even 5 out there that are good enough and consistent enough to give athletes or fighters a platform to prepare them for the big show. And what happens is you get an amazing talented array of fighters out the world climbing up the ladder.
Yeah.
What happens is they get put on a platform where they're mistreated, don't get paid properly, don't get medical attention, don't get looked after, and then they're running a normal job and they're professional fighters at the same time. Eventually, it costs them so much money, and they're so inconsistent that they have to fall off, and they have a family, so they have to continue work, and they never reach their potential. Or they get on another platform where they get so mistreated that they just think, this is not for me. I'm not doing this. This is not for me. Or, yet again, you have a small platform where they're cushioned and they just fight 10 people out there that are nobodies. They make it to the big show, and when they get there, they crumble.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's great.
It happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
So for me, when I wanted to do this, I wanted to give a platform not better than the top guys in the world. Come on now, there's no one out there better than the UFC.
No.
There's no one out there a platform. Bellator. No. You have to build a platform. Be realistic. I want to be realistic and say I want to build a platform that's maybe 2, 4, 5,000 people in my arena. I want to make it look professional, treat the fighters right, but give them a platform that allows them to prepare 100% ready for the big show.
Yeah.
So when they get to that big show, they used to be treated this way. They know what to expect when they get there. They know that they should be picked up from the airport. They know their medical should be correct. They know all of these things should be in line.
Yeah.
So when they get there, it's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's nothing new, and therefore then you can get the best out of them. People get to these big shows, and then they have to have a fight. You heard of the UFC jitters?
Yes. Yeah, UFC.
It's not UFC. It's not UFC jitters at all. What it is they get to this big show. They've not been properly prepared. So when they get there and they have a whole list of all these things they have to do that week, they're overwhelmed. They're not used to it.
Yeah.
They're not used to all these obligations. They used to turn up at the fight show the day before the event, or even on the day, drive up in their car, have a fight, and go home. They're not used to doing press conferences, radios, media attention. So it's all so overwhelming to them that their mind, when it comes to the show, is just fried. They can't even perform. They're burnt out. So I want to put a platform where they can get used to that. And you know, we can push them the way they should be pushed, and get them used to it in a controlled manner. So when they get to that big show, and it's nothing for me. I'm not here to tie anybody down with exclusive contracts and stuff like that. You want to fight for my show? Come and fight for my show. I'll give you a contract or a bout agreement, and you can fight on another show. I'm not going to keep you locked in with me. If you don't want to fight on my show, don't fight. I'm not going to ruin and waste someone's youth, or waste their career. And tie them on a 2-year contract that you fight once every 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I have more respect for my athlete.
And the thing is, that's experience that you have got. That I think a lot of promoters who just set up the shows because they want the bright lights and they think it's all about the money. So those guys don't know about what it's like to be a fighter. It's something that's invaluable. It's something that you can't really put a figure on. What you've gone through is something that a lot of promoters, maybe, that they just won't know what it is. They don't understand it. They just think it's a simple case of tick these boxes, off they go, and that's me done. And you're going to put something out there for fighters that fighters will go to you. A lot more fighters will go to you because they'll know what they'll get, because they'll know you've been there.
Yeah, because 98% of the promoters that are out there are not passionate for the sport. They're passionate for the success of the sport. Go to ask 98% of the promoters that are out there, what did you do 3 years ago? Oh, I was an electrician. What did you do 4 years ago? Oh, this guy was working in construction. This guy was in the banking. This guy was an attorney. They've got into the sport because it's the fastest growing sport in the world, and they see a money-making idea, a pyramid scheme, how to get there.
It's all about that money. It's all about that,
I've been in this sport. I've been in this sport for over 15 years in MMA. I got into this sport. It wasn't for money, I can tell you. Because if you're in this sport for money, you're in the wrong sport. Go into boxing, go into be something else. Because you have to be in this passion. I fought 5 times a year for 6 years. It wasn't for money, I could tell you that much. You know, I would have been fighting 6 times a year.
I remember when I made my pro debut as well. I had to pay to get across, to get I paid for my hotel. No, he paid for my hotel, sorry. He paid for my hotel, and everything else I didn't even expect to get paid or anything. I just went over there because I was like, I was so happy I got a fight. I was so happy I got matched up with someone. The guy had 6 pro bouts on him already, and I was like making my debut. I was like, I don't care who it is. Give me Bruce Lee. I don't care. I just want to fight. That's all it was. It's when you love it.
It's the personal test of the passion for it. That's what these guys don't understand. Is that the athlete or the fighter that's coming in to fight for them is fighting for himself, but he's also fighting because of his passion. He doesn't need all he doesn't want is you to try to rip him off. All he doesn't want, he wants what's fair. He just wants a hotel. He just wants his food taken care of. He just wants to be picked up from the airport. The most simplest. He's got off a 10-hour flight. Pick the guy up from the airport. Or, I mean, gee, he has to get a taxi and find his own way. Or you know what? I mean, I'm not going to name any names here, but I think it's very popular that everyone knows what happened to me in my career. I fought for the company that I was dying to fight for, and I just asked to fight again. I just was frustrated that I didn't fight for a year. I asked to fight, and rather than give you a fight, they let you go. It's like it's berserk to me. I don't understand. Like these people that fight for these companies. You say, what do you do for a living? I'm a professional fighter. No, you're not. No, you're not at all. You fight for a company that you do once a year. Once a year you fight, or once every 18 months you fight. How are you a fighter? You work every day at the restaurant.
Subcontractor. You're a subcontractor is the best way to put it.
It's like going to Hollywood and saying, oh, what do you do for a living? I'm an actor. Oh, that's nice. What restaurant do you work at? Every actor in Hollywood is a waiter. Every actor. You're part-time something else. You work more. If you work more in that field than you do in that field, you're not. You know, if you work 75% in a restaurant and 25% as a fighter. You're not a fighter, my friend.
Yeah.
You're a restaurateur.
Yeah, yeah.
You shouldn't be that way. If
Yeah.
you're a fighter and you have 3 or 4 times a year, these promoters should allow these guys to fight when they want to fight.
Yeah, no,
And that's their job. If not, don't sign them.
Yeah. Or at least
Don't
just
sign them.
have a
Don't
mutual
put them on
agreement.
exclusive
Yeah.
contracts. Don't tie up there. Don't you waste their youth.
That's
Allow
the
them
key.
to go off and do whatever they want. If you want the best for them, then let them do that. But don't tie them down from the beginning unless it's. And then you say you can't take another job.
No, that's one thing I liked about Bellator was that
Phenomenal.
guys who are outside of the US with Bellator can fight on the local show in their respective country. If they can't, so like for example, your Brits can fight like Paul Daly fought on Bellator because I like that. I thought on BAMMA because if Bellator said, "Oh, we'll let you have a fight there because we're not going to match up for X." I like that though because that was a nice thing because they understood it. But you're right there. But the thing is, it's not going to happen. Sorry,
Right.
go ahead. Sorry.
I said it's professional though,
Yes.
because that means that what you're saying is we can't use you for 6 months because we want to build a platform for you to fight.
Yeah.
But we understand you have a family and you
Yeah.
need to fight because this is what you do for a living. You need to earn your money.
Yeah.
We have a relationship with this company. We know they're a respectable company like BAMMA
Yeah.
in England. We're going to allow you to fight because we know they won't disvalue your name.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, we don't lose the value in you.
Yeah.
We'll allow you to fight on their show. And it keeps your value, you earn money, and it keeps everyone alive.
Exactly.
That's understanding the athlete.
Yep.
That's understanding the sport. When you're just don't even answer, you
No.
don't even answer people's emails, you don't even answer their phone calls. How's that respect for the athlete?
Exactly.
It's nothing.
It's crazy. But the thing is, though,
It's like me insane.
it won't happen with you because you know what to do. You're going to look after people, and they're going to be happy with.
Even right now, I go through my list every day and I make sure every day I answer everybody that messages me. Every single person that's ever contacted me, I've had a personal message back from me to say, thank you for reaching out to me. I'll be in contact soon. Or the show's full right now, but we'll
Yeah.
keep you in mind for the next event. Communication. It's not even that. It's respect.
Yeah.
If someone has the decency to reach out and say, oh, James has got a show coming up. I know he must be busy, but you know what? The guy still messaged me back. Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's nice of him. He couldn't put me on, but he still messaged me back and let me know. Kept me in the loop.
Yeah.
And that's all we want is that mutual respect, right? That's all anyone ever wants. Treat me how I wish to be treated. That's what people want.
And it's
And
big.
it's not a hard mixture.
No.
If you message someone or speaks to you, or they text you, or they give you a phone call, have the respect to
Yeah.
take a second out of your day, message them back, call them back and say, hey, buddy, I really appreciate your phone call. I'll keep you in mind. Unfortunately, at this stage, we're 4 weeks from the event. The event's done. But future reference, or if anyone pulls out, you're the first person I'm going to contact.
Yes.
And people say, okay, mate, no, thank you. Keep me in mind. They'll go away and tell another 20 people, oh, no, I'm not on their event. But you know what? They called me back, though.
Yeah.
They let me know. Fair. They could have just ignored me.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes.
It only takes a minute, yeah. It does only take a minute. It's huge, and it's just being human. I think that's the main thing. It's manners and being a human. And the 28th of January, we're going to have, in Australia, a fight card, which you're going to have a lot of fighters on that card who are going to be happy. They're going to be happy they're fighting, and they've been treated well, and you're going to be you're going to be smiling from ear to ear. I expect you're probably going to be looking a bit dapper, and it's just going to be a great time for you, man. It's going to be obviously you can be a bit stressful that night. It's going to be a bit running around, make sure everything's okay, everything T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. But look, it's an exciting future. You know, it's an exciting start to the year.
Yeah, for me, it's just as well. I mean, all the stress, all the things, it's all worth it for me, and it's all down to a vision. For me, it's all down to giving back to the sport. This sport has treated me so well. I've traveled the world. It's allowed me to earn money. It's allowed me to provide for my family. It's allowed me you name it, I've done it. From around the world, from going to countries where I never even knew existed, to these people knowing my name there and asking me for a photo. I mean, gee, I'm a nobody from a small town outside of London. How do they even know my name? So for me, to be honest with you, with the gyms that I have, and able to teach and give back to the sport, build these youngsters up, have professional fighters come to me for advice and speak to me and want to train with me, and then giving them another platform where I can rebuild what I feel personally is wrong with certain avenues, and support certain avenues that I think are right.
Yeah.
Giving them another platform and giving back. For me, it just enables me to keep inside of sport because, of course, I can't fight no more, right? So I have to live through these. I have to live through them.
Yeah.
So if I can live through them, I wanna put on what I would want to fight on. I want to be a part of gyms that I would want to train at.
Yeah.
I want to learn things that I would want to learn. So if I can help them in that way, then it's great, and it also keeps my craving at bay.
Yeah, it's like a fix, just a fix.
It doesn't ever fulfill it,
Nah.
but it keeps it at bay. It enables my demons to still get that release. It enables me to still be involved in a sport that I love, in another realm.
Yeah. No, you're right. And look, so obviously this card is going to be on Fox, which is fantastic for you. It's a Fox in Australia. If it's on, is there any social media for it? Is there like an Instagram page? Is it Twitter, Facebook page? Is there any of that stuff for it?
Yeah, well, we have McSweeney Fight Factory for my gym on Facebook and Instagram. But for the show, we have Legend MMA. So you can go onto Instagram and find Legend MMA. You can find all the updates, all the releases that we do. Or go to Instagram and Facebook first. Same as on Facebook, you can go to Legend MMA Promotions, and you'll find it there on Facebook. And you'll find out everything that gets announced there first. I mean, we were very lucky. I made contact when I came here, and I thought, you know what, I want to put on a prestigious show. I'm not going to go to a sports center. I'm not going to go to a convention center. I found a 5-star, beautiful resort, Jupiter's Casino, right across the street, which is one of the most amazing casino resorts in the whole of Queensland. And I walked straight into their office and I said, I'm here. This is what I want to do, and I want to use your event. And they were like, wow, okay, well, we could discuss. I said, no, I want to do it. Let's make it happen. I'm not here to put on a small event. I want to do a 2-year contract with you guys. And they bit my hand off, and they took it straight away. And now they see that, if you're going to put on a prestigious event, you want a prestigious place.
Yes.
When you're in Vegas, you go to the MGM Grand, Caesar's Palace. You go to these beautiful places where you get looked after. You're in a nice environment. It's the hub. So you have to do the same kind of thing. So for me, I'm very fortunate that we have the support of Jupiter's Casino. I have the support from amazing sponsors like Ultra Tune, which is the biggest auto mechanical in the whole of Australia, supporting us. I have numerous sponsors like Monster Clothing and First Choice Fitness, and all these people that can help us and get us where we need to get. I'm just very lucky. Good people to help, surround yourself with good people and good things happen. And that's why I went to the very best that I could in the industry.
And do you know what I noticed? I saw the hotel in the little video promo. The hotel, it does look absolutely stupendous. It looks a proper it looks like the kind of place where I would walk in and they'd probably get security and ask me to go. They'd probably think I'm in the wrong place. It looks proper swanky panky, I have to say. No, it is, and it does add a bit of class. It really makes a difference. It, like you say, that professional look. It's all those touches, mate.
But you want to remember your night. You want to remember it, and you want value for your money. If you bought $100 ticket and you come to my event, you want to walk into a place where you can get dressed up nice and not look out of place. You can take your partner or your friends or your business associate, and you're going to feel like you fit in. You can get a pre-fight dinner, a drink. You can go to the cocktail bar or the entrance, and you're going to be met by professional staff. You know that in the casino there's professional security that are run there to make sure there's no issues. You can make sure that everything is fully covered. You can just go there, take a nice deep breath, and enjoy your event. Enjoy your evening. And there's no worries about, we have to leave a little bit early because, God forbid, this could happen, or everyone's going to leave at the same time. There's no exits for everyone to leave, and there's a stampede. All these crazy things that you hear happen at these events. You won't get that in Las Vegas. You'll never get that in Japan, and you certainly won't get that at my event at Jupiter's Casino.
And I can't wait, honestly. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be tremendous, and it's just going to be the start of your new venture within MMA as well. It's super exciting times, James. I can't wait, my friend. So I want to thank you so much for giving me some of this information and sharing it with myself and obviously everyone else who's watching this, man. I want you to have a fantastic show. I want you to have a great time, and just honestly, just keep building, just keep growing. That's all that's going to happen, my friend. Yeah,
I will try my best, and thank you so much for letting me come on. It was always overwhelming to to have people that want to come and talk to us at any given time, let alone to hear my opinion. So thank you so much, and thank you for all the followers. It really is great. If you want to catch up on anything, check us out on social media. And who knows, John, we'll have to fly you out one day and come out and see the June show.
Oh, I'll be on it. I'll be on it. What do you mean? I'll be on it. Look, I've got the moves. I've got the moves. I was going to say I'll put the links in the description below anyway, so everyone can click onto the Facebook link, so they could jump straight onto it as well, my friends. So don't worry about that. It's all about the linkage, my friends.